on Friday, stage 2. And today, against John Astley, Hayden Pinney and Harris Tahir, the other two players in this group. Sadly, close group though.
Yeah.
It's a strange scenario, isn't it? You know, needing a draw, because every match you play all year, you're just trying to win. So to what extent is the sort of format and thinking about all that on players' minds?
Yeah, it is, especially going before the match starts.
3. We beat Hawkins most recently at the Scottish Open. That was 6 years ago. So he has got those good memories to hold on to. And I guess also he won't... well, he'll know that Hawkins hasn't been practicing every day in the last couple of months. He has played a match already, Hawkins. He qualified for the World Open, so this is not his first match of the season. But of course, Astley did have all those matches in the Q School. So I guess if you're going to play a top player, maybe this is the time to do it. Hawkins, though, pretty unflappable character. Of course, had a very good season. He got to the final of the UK Championship and the German Masters and very narrowly lost out. First to Judd Trump, then to Karen Wilson. I'm saying Vafai beat him at the Crucible in round 1. We've got to talk about your win over Mark Selby, Ben. I mean, what an occasion that was to play him there and to beat him there. I mean, one of the best players we've ever seen there.
Yeah, I don't think many people gave me a chance, to be honest, probably including myself. Yeah, it's one of the best memories for me that I've had as a snooker player, and having my older son there, who's 12, who could, experience it all. And he didn't, he never watches me on TV, he never watches me live, but he stayed there till midnight on both days, and he didn't even go out during the interval. So it was amazing. He got quite emotional when I won, more emotional than I was. So that was the most special thing for me, just seeing
win the next match, but just a great way to end the season.
Yeah, and I said to my best friend actually a few days ago, it could have been a lot different. Mark Davis missed the last black against me, and I should have been out first round. So sometimes you need that little break, and things can happen in snooker.
Well, what's happening here is one of these frames where reds have gone into bulk, so the safety's down the black end for now, but the ball of the day, see if he gets to 500.
But yeah, I think that will be his main aim, to get some match practice in.
Yeah, and coming in the last week, if he does get through, he plays again Friday, so it's not long to wait. And it all concludes next week. Just trying to keep the pressure on Astley here. Cue ball on the top cushion. Yeah, couldn't quite get the cue ball. Big shot though, isn't it? Got to get this. He's surely going to be leaving something on if he doesn't. Yeah, and he hasn't.
One.
John Astley, unique in snooker because he's appeared at the Crucible, but not in the World Championship. He was in a play, snooker play. They needed a snooker player because there was a scene where he basically had to clear the table. And it was called The Nap, and it was very successful. In fact, one of the people who came to see it, Angelina Jolie, because she was friends with one of the actors in it. I don't think she's turning up here this week, though, Ben.
Yeah, it's a horrible little shot. Bridging close to the red. There's quite a lot of angle on it as well. But you can understand him taking his time.
Well, he'll regard that, I'm sure, as a missed opportunity after Hawkins missed that red to left middle just to score 8 points. A lot of red seem to sort of gone towards cushions as well, so Hawkins is going to have to do well here to win the frame at this visit.
Eight. Nine. 60. 70. 22.
Well, that was a surprising miss from Barry.
Hawkins, 22.
Thought he had 3 or 4 pretty straightforward reds there, and then it was going to get difficult, but
The next frames, really. What we do know is whoever wins this group will go into a group in the next stage, which already includes Elliot Slesser and Nogon Yi. One more to be found, so it's already quite an interesting group. Now, table 2 is a bit cleaner than this one. It's already framed ball here for an interesting group. It's quite hard to call. Show you along the top seed. But Hugill is a threat, as is David Lilly, as is David Grace. So,
13.
Pick one out of those 4. Don't think he's on this black, but it is a snooker needed.
Green ball.
Now then, John Astley lining this one up.
Nine. Ground ball.
Another great pot there by John.
30.
Yeah, I mean,
40.
I mentioned the play he was in. There was a scene where he had to basically make a big break, and I mean, they weren't sort of, you know, the tight pockets that you get at tournaments, but the table itself, because it had to change the scene, it had to be rolled on and off on wheels, so it wasn't exactly the sort of table that you would play snooker on. So it's quite an undertaking.
80.
And he was offered the chance. They went to America to do it on Broadway. He was offered the chance, but because it clashed with the snooker season, he declined.
90.
Yeah, I remember him telling me about the Broadway option. I guess I don't know, he'd probably took it if he wasn't on the tour like he isn't this season, but I'm not sure. You know, it's a big, obviously, commitment to move for a few months or however long it would have been in America.
$25.
Well, there's certainly 4 reds out in open play here.
John Astley, 25.
The interesting thing, of course, about this format is it doesn't matter whether 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. If the players are tied, it goes on frame difference. Then the result between the players, if that's level, if they draw 2-all, then it goes on the high break.
1.
Good pot by Barry, and nicely found the gap between the black and pink to get nicely on that black. Both players know how important this first match is. You just can't really afford to lose it, because then you're playing catch up and you'll need results to go your way to win the group then.
Yeah, and I think particularly so for the top seed, because Hawkins doesn't play again until 5 o'clock, and obviously there's a chance then for the other players to really put the pressure on him with their results.
9. Barry Hawkins, 9.
Didn't get too close to that one.
Yeah, I think he was thinking too much about where to leave the white, so he didn't leave a red, but because he didn't hit it correctly at all, that's why he didn't get the white back and left Barry pretty straightforward first red.
1. Seven. 8. 1 Hawkins, 8.
There's kind of a skill to win in frames like this, and a lot of it is down to patience and discipline. Hawkins beat Julien Leclerc, the Belgian, to qualify for Wuhan, big ranking event in China in the end of August. 5-1, that was his first outing since that defeat to Verfai at the Crucible.
Great shot by John there. When the reds are that close to the cushion, you just got to catch the reds so thin. It's one of the most difficult shots to play.
Well, it's got a bit congested down that end of the table.
I think he's left this red for John, and he could develop all the balls here.
One.
It's kind of typical of the frame. Nothing's sort of gone right for the players. Okay, he's potted it, but you just want to land on something nicely.
Yeah, once he popped that red, I thought he was definitely going to be on a colour. So he is a bit unfortunate not to be on a colour there.
Black ball. John Astley one.
Or whatever with this red, the other one tied up with the brown.
If he's got the angle on this blue, he could develop the red and brown, but if not, I'm sure he might play a snooker. So it all depends what angle he's got on this blue. Bit surprised he popped that blue if he couldn't actually develop the red and brown, or maybe he tried, just got too much screw in it on the white. So now it's not quite straightforward to get a snooker here on this red.
John Astley 6.
Well, now it's more an open table with that red coming away from the brown. 1 point in it. Frame's been going nearly half an hour. Yeah, it wasn't the best from Astley, was it, that last shot, to leave any sort of pot on. Good pop, though, from Hawkins.
Yeah, good pop by Barry. Yeah, if John would have left the white somewhere near the yellow pocket, he'd have had Barry in all sorts of trouble to even hit the red, and if he hit it, John would definitely have had control of the table as well.
So after a lot of sort of scrapping about, it's a much better chance for Hawkins after all to win the frame. I guess his defeat in the first round, the World Championship, was something of a surprise because the Tour Championship just before it, he beat Sean Murphy 10-1, Judd Trump 10-5, so, you know, he's playing really good stuff. Anyway, it's a new season, lots of trophies to be contested, not least with Hawkins number 9 in the world. He's going to be in most events. Blue is frame ball. Oh, it's early days, but he couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he didn't even play for the pink. He just tried to make sure the blue, and it was an amazing miss, really. Well, John's got this straightforward black for the frame. What a first frame.
It was eventful, and John Astley must have thought he'd thrown it away. But in goes the black. He'll be delighted. So underway for another week at the Championship League. John Astley leads Barry Hall. John Astley then won a very scrappy but ultimately quite exciting first frame. It looked like when Hawkins knocked the long red in, he was guaranteed to clear up, missed the blue. Maybe just not in that zone of concentration that he would be in a couple of months' time when there's been tournament after tournament, still getting back to it, which is understandable. Anyway, John Astley was delighted to get the chance. So it means Hawkins to get the 3 points here. Remember, he's the top seed in this event. He's going to have to win all 3 frames now. Yeah, I mean, John Astley, he's off the Q School list, but he's been a pro. Everyone knows on his day how good he can be as he takes the double on. So we've seen a few top-ups, and they have struggled in this environment, but he's played in ranking events. He's played top players. He's beaten Hawkins 2 times out of 3. So he won't be overall by any means coming here today. It's already 1 each, by the way. Zhou Yilong's level up with Ashley Hugel on table 2.
Yeah, John's definitely got more experience than your sort of average top-up. You know, he's had quite a good few years on the tour and a very capable player on his day.
Just to remind you, Hayden Pinney and Harris Tahir, the other 2 players in this group, they're up next. Bit of a side there, he didn't reach the book line, but it's okay, I think. Just could have got Hawkins in a bit more bother. Now then, it's a bit more fluent on table 2. 1-all, and Ashley Hugel 54 in front on a break of 54 here in frame 3. Zhou Yilong made 67 in the previous frame. Hugel a 50 in the first, as Hawkins nails that plant. But Ashley Hugel closing in on a 2-1 lead. He's another one of these players, a bit like John Astley, you have to sort of check whether he's on the tour or not, because, you know, he has been, he's played at the Crucible, but that Q School is really tough, and just because you've lost in it, it doesn't mean that you're a bad player by any means.
Yeah, I always lose track who's on the tour, who's on their first year, who's on their second year, you know, because you see all the players all the time. You forget, unless you completely follow their career, which if they're on the tour or not.
Well, he was poised to win the frame but missed that red, so he's got one safe, but not done yet, that frame. And this one has already, again, just gone a bit scrappy. Hawkins found that plant but didn't land on a colour.
John keeps under hitting or catching these safeties quite thick, the last 3 or 4 safeties he's played.
Even there, I mean, he's knocked the blue onto the baulk cushion, which doesn't help anybody. So it's just one of those matches at the moment, yet to really sort of catch.
Eight.
It was a good try. A lot of screwing side on that. Just cuts in, but again, the position won't be easy to get right here with such a thin cut on this pink.
Yeah, another sigh from John Astley. With the blue being knocked out of commission and the black buried. He really needed that pink back on its spot. It's going to be green. Well, he's played that well. Just mindful of that red. Rob Spence, the referee, keeping close watch.
Right.
Ashley Hugel, I won that frame we were watching earlier, knocked the long red in was frame ball last red, so 2-1 to him against Xiao Yulong, who is the top seed. Interesting mix of players who already come through. Some of the top seeds won, but there were
26.
notable wins for some of the younger players. Liam Davies, Ben Mertens, of course, Artemis Zizins from Latvia on Saturday. So they've all gone through to the next phase, as has Nogon Yi, who will be in the group that the winner of this group will be in.
Blue. Blue.
Well, it's going to be safety, but at least he's got himself 26 in front.
Barrier trying to get the white near the green pocket. Pushed the red near the pocket, but he's got a brilliant white, so be a difficult shot for John if he takes it on. He's not on a colour, but he'll be delighted to pop that red because he was in quite a bit of trouble there. Sometimes when I think he was forced into the red, just concentrates your mind on the pot. So it was a good pot by John.
Astley.
Even there, he had almost too much choice. There were several reds he could have gone for. It's just a match where nothing landing nicely, you know, trying to get on the black here, but it just didn't quite work out. So it's a test of patience. I say Hawkins, though, would be one of the more patient players on tour.
Big shot for Barrier if he takes on one of these two reds. That'll make him feel a bit better with what's happened in this first frame and a half.
Yes, and things have opened up now. So this is a definite chance. There's one red glued to the left-hand side cushion. Going to need dealing with. That's the one there that's just close to him. I guess the question this season for Hawkins, as I say, will be in pretty much everything, is can he land a really big title, because he's now been runner-up in all 3 Triple Crown tournaments.
Yeah, had a great final with Judd in the UK Championship. It was a really high quality match, and just missed out on that. Yeah, Barry's got to be possibly the best player, I think, not to win one of the Triple Crown tournaments.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone who's been runner-up in all 3 without winning one. So, not necessarily, I suppose, the list you want to be top of, but everyone in the game knows, certainly the other players, how good he can be. I mentioned those good wins at the Tour Championship. So it's looking like it's going to revolve now around that safe red, this frame. First frame, of course, Hawkins lost on the black, having missed the blue.
I think he might play up for yellow or blue here to bring out the last red. He's got a perfect angle on the yellow. I'd expect him to hit this red, definitely, but it's just obviously if he can bring it into a potable position. Dreaded double kiss when you're trying to knock a red off the cushion. So will he be tempted by the double, or he could just play a snooker?
Nicely done. So 14 in front, but we saw what happened in the last frame. He didn't quite kill it off. 18 with the brown, so it's yellow and green needed as well. Surely no mistake this time.
46.
Been a typical Barry Hawkins break, really. There was nothing flashy about it, but very efficient, well controlled. Well, just one snooker.
Yeah, it's been a good break from Barry considering how the match has gone. Good first red. Some players, the way the frame's gone and Barry struggled until this break, you know, might have lost, got down on himself, but Barry's always tries hard.
Well, he has hit it and he hasn't left it on. Problem is that Hawkins sort of has control of the initial exchange here. Of course, it's Astley who needs the snooker. good effort. If it had got tight to the black, this would have been trouble.
Yeah, that was really close to having Barry in a lot of trouble there. It would have looked good to John as the white was coming down the table, but it just didn't come quite far enough.
Well, he needs cover here. And he's got it, I think. Of course, Astley, part of the northeast of England set. Sam Craigie and Elliot Slesser have already qualified. David Lilly also in action today. Gary Wilson, of course, was top seed in his group. He didn't get through to the next phase.
Good shot by John. Yeah, this is not straightforward, and he's got to be careful that he doesn't hit the brown and going off as well. So he might play off 2 cushions.
Foul. John Astley.
Well, how thin is the brown? I think Rob's just trying to get the 4 points on. Obviously, he can win the frame now. Quite important that they go on the scoreboard.
It's all right, you carry on, I'll sort it.
Well, computer says no.
Yeah, it's a very thin one, I think, this brown. It's one of them that if you do miss it, I think it's going to stay right near the pocket, but
Cheers, John, thank you.
Well, the first frame was dramatic, and this is a bit more so. He's got the snooker needed now. He's counting the pink. Still on the blue, a long blue. Pink, you feel, will be waiting. And then the black's on its spot. He just avoids the black. Yeah, well, he's going to steal another one, it would seem.
incredible 2 frames. You know, Barry in both frames was, you know, you'd almost say certain to win both frames. Especially this one with the snooker. He was perfect on the green, and he just didn't get on the brown to kill the frame, and
15.
he's going to pay the ultimate price.
Well, I saw Barry before play began. He was all cheerful, but less so now, I suspect. As you say, should be 2-0 up. But it's John, so he leads 2-0. If John Astley can get this one. And that's the other thing. If Hawkins were to lose 3-0, then that really is going to be tough to turn around. It's not impossible, but he would need other results to go his way. He might need a couple of draws in other matches, and then he'd need to win his last 2. And off the break off, he's left a chance at a long red here for Astley. not to be. Now, can Hawkins find a bit of fluency? There's been very scrappy starts to the first couple of frames, but this is an immediate chance with the black available to get going. Just while we watch him, did you make it to Wimbledon, Ben? I know you're a big tennis man.
Unfortunately not. I watched a lot of it. But yeah, obviously it's so hard. Probably one of the hardest events to get tickets for. It's just all the other majors in tennis are, pretty straightforward if you pay a reasonable price. But Wimbledon is completely different. Yeah, shame I couldn't go this year.
I was looking out for you. They were putting the camera on, David Beckham and Helen Mirren and all these people. I thought, Ben will be there, but obviously not.
No, I can't get in the royal box yet. Maybe Tatiana can get me in there. She's more famous than me.
Well, he just lost the white here. So, still on reds, but it's just made it a little more difficult. Although, I don't want to jinx him, but I was talking to Alan McManus, actually, and he was saying he thinks Barry might be the best player potting with the cue ball on the cushion.
17.
As I mentioned earlier, 499 career centuries. He's had 3 maximums, 36 centuries last season. So, as with all the players at the top of the game, he's a heavy scorer.
Yeah, people would say, "Oh, Barry's a solid player," but he's a bit more than that. To have, basically 500 centuries. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm assuming only about 15 players would have made that many centuries in their career. So it proves that he's one of the heaviest scorers as well.
Yeah, he'd be the 15th, actually, so you're quite right. Yeah, I think he's one of these players, if you look at all aspects of his game, there aren't really any weaknesses. It's just maybe just closing out some of the big matches has been an issue. But having said that, in these finals, you're always up against top players. He's nothing like that one.
I think the table's probably been reclothed over the weekend, and normally on the first day, or especially the first match, the cushions can be a little bit slower. But you think Barry would, now know that after a couple of frames, but I think he was just surprised how slow that come off the black cushion.
Disappointing, though, not to be able to continue.
Right, Hawkins, 30.
Yeah, just on those Triple Crown finals, the Masters, but in 2 Masters finals, Hawkins, he lost to Ronnie O'Sullivan and Neil Robertson. World Championship, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Masters, Judd Trump. It's not like he's playing, nobodies. They're all obviously amongst the very best ever.
Yeah, and despite obviously Barry being an unbelievable player, he's still obviously slight second favourite in all those finals. So it just proves how hard it is to win one of those tournaments. I remember the world final he played against Ronnie. I thought he played absolutely amazing and still lost 18-12, but that was almost Ronnie at his absolute best, I think, in that final.
Yeah, he sort of pushed him, didn't he, Barry, to play to that level. 6 centuries from O'Sullivan. Just all unravelled, doesn't it? After missing that blue in frame 1. But John Astley not able to take advantage on this occasion. Hawkins sat down, rather fed up, but comes back to the table immediately.
Nice shot by Barry. He's just got to, you know, try and forget what's happened in these first 2 frames and try and get out with a draw, because, you know, John's not played well himself. It's been a struggle for both players, but Barry will know, you know, if he can get out with a draw, he'll actually be reasonably happy with what's happened.
8.
Well, big chance now to win his first frame. Well, still needs red and colour, and of course he wants to really make sure, having lost the last frame, after Astley got that snooker on the brown. So didn't win it in one visit, but looks like he has now taken this frame, this black, and it's 2 snookers needed. And it looks, well, in fact, a handshake next door. Ashley Hookel has beaten Zhou Yilong 3-1. So the top seed in the group beaten there. Zhou Yilong took on a very difficult brown with the last red over the middle. So had to get it, didn't, and Ashley Hookel did enough there to get the win. Alfie Burton, who's not on the tour at the moment, he did win a group in the first week here, so he'll be coming back. So we have seen players off the Q School Order of Merit coming here and doing good things. So Hawkins can still get a point out of this match.
50.
And I suppose what's cheering for him is he has dominated this frame.
And still can make his 500th century, I think, here as well. Not sure he'll know. He might do, he might not.
We'll tell him, don't worry. Well, it's not going to happen now, but the main thing is he's won the frame. So Barry Hawkins on the scoreboard at last. John Astley's lead 2-1, and there's one more frame. So Barry Hawkins he's on the scoreboard. He could have won 3-0. Of course, lost the first 2 frames on the black, but can still get a point out of this, and that gives him some sort of foothold. 2 matches left to play. John Astley, though, can still get the match won and take the 3 points. Hayden Pinney and Haris Tahir will follow. Next match on table 2, David Lilly and David Grace in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, John just caught that break off a bit thick and brought that red up so Barry could cut it in. It's frustrating as a snooker player to leave a red in the middle of the break off. You know, it happens quite a lot, but it's never a nice feeling.
So a good split, and he's away with a chance to get this frame won in this visit, which on Astley just having broken off. Hawkins still finding his way back into the new season. As I say, he has played 1 match already, but been quite a few weeks since that was played. He's been on holiday.
11.
But the tournaments will start to come thick and fast. Some big ones coming up. Shanghai Masters, big invitation event in a couple of weeks' time. And then Saudi Arabia Masters, huge ranking tournament in Jeddah. And then the Wuhan Open before August is out. So some big prizes to be played for in the summer months.
Yeah, I think for most of the tour it's when the season really starts, you know, kicking in really, with a trip to Saudi and then China. Possibly only, you know, back for a week in the UK before going out there again, you know, going to China after Saudi. So yeah, busy month in August. Just come wrong side of the blue there, so he's going to have to, I think, leave this red from a bit more distance than ideal.
30.
Barry just wants to possibly pop this red and leave himself slightly low on the black. I think he'll try and move the red away from the black spot, and that'll open everything up.
32.
I think that looks perfect. You sort of know when it's perfect for some, you know, the players when they're straight down to the next shot, you know, no fidgeting. They're just happy with the angle on the black there.
So just needs to keep it going now. Golden chance to secure the point. Obviously wanted 3, but getting 1 point means that all is not lost by any means. He plays Wu Yize in Shanghai. That'll be an interesting one. Wu Yize already qualified here for the next stage, and the winner of that plays Ronnie O'Sullivan. Again, no real angle on the blue. Oh, that's a lovely shot. So getting closer here to securing the frame and securing the draw.
He had quite a lot of side on that Barry just to check the white up to move that red away to be perfect on the black. So looking pretty straightforward for a draw now.
And still with the chance to make this 500th career century. First things first, though, secure the frame. He pots the black. Astley can only tie, so this red is effectively for 2-2. And he's done well because there were obviously 2 hammer blows to lose the first 2 frames the way he did, both on the black, both which it looked like he was going to win. But he dominated the last frame, and of course in this one, Astley broke off. He left that thin red to the right middle, and that's been his only shot.
Yeah, Barry's done really well to keep his composure after those first 2 frames. He's played pretty well these, yeah, from 2-0 to 2-all. He's played well.
Well, they'll have to wait for that 500th century, but the main thing is he's won the frame in a single visit. 83 the break from Barry Hawkins, and so the top seed has salvaged a point, having gone 2-0 down. So an interesting start, and in 5 minutes' time we'll be watching the other two players in this group as Hayden Pinney takes on Haris Tahir. Coming your way. We've not been long, of course, since the afternoon session finished, and a couple of close groups. This is table 2. David Lilly